Welcome back. This a Fox Weather Alert. Got some brand new information coming in. We've had the whole Fox Forecast Center trying to work out the details here as that tsunami warning was issued by the National Tsunami Warning Center. The warning has been canceled. They've downgraded it to a tsunami advisory. All of this after a magnitude 7.3 earthquake struck off the coast at 12:37 local time. So according to the NWS, the National Weather Service, tsunami advisory means take action. Treat this as a dangerous scenario. It is. Potential for strong current or waves. Obviously, stay out of water. Up in Alaska, it's chilly. I know that personally, so that's helpful. But it means that some of that rising water is either expected or occurring. There may be flooding of beaches and waterways, and follow instructions from local officials. So I'm wondering here, so the warning goes out. We will report the tsunami warning for all of these areas, all the way up to the bay, approaching Anchorage, Kodiak Island, down the Aleutian Islands. The proximity of this to the islands, super close, very, very close, just a little bit more than 50 miles south of the Aleutian. So the thinking here, probably have an abundance of caution as it's so close and how quickly that tsunami would get there. Warning goes out to alert people that, hey, this has occurred and the tsunami's coming. That advisory indicating what we were just talking about, Sand Point in Alaska, the tsunami wave would have been there by now. That would have arrived at about 20 minutes back. And Greg Diamond up in the Fox Forecast Center telling us that there hasn't been any water rise recorded at Sand Point.
And I think to your point, it's so close to land, you almost have to issue this warning to get that active. Because you think about, with this being in the Aleutian Islands, how quickly can you get north and get out of the peninsula away from it if there was an imminent wave coming, right? Because those other locations, like we listed out with Cold Bay and Kodiak, are to your north. So you're going to have to drive through there to keep going. And I think that's why initially they came out with the warning. And then now they're looking at what
higher ground.
Yeah, get to higher ground. Get the message out there. Get better safe than sorry. And then now we're looking at everything that we have seen here with Fox Weather is the same thing they're looking at. We look at the buoys. They're saying, hey, we haven't seen anything yet, but the advisory is still in place saying there could be waves that are dangerous. And I want to bring up something because this is rarity. You have actually experience here. This is a big fishing community. And that was one of the messages there was, hey, your boats, by the way, normally you're going to anchor them close, right? Yep. You need to get that back out into water. They were talking about trying to get at least 180 feet deep in order to be prepared for that.
Which you can do that fairly quickly when you steam out of these places and find your way either up into the Bering Sea or down into the northern Pacific, down to that whole Gulf of Alaska. The tsunami advisory, keep in mind, Steve, this is pretty similar. I know there was a lot of frustration when we had that big earthquake in the northwestern Caribbean, so close to land. Tsunami warning goes out, and folks are saying, how big is it? And until the USGS and the warning centers have a clear look of how the ground, how the rock move, you don't know how big it is.
Right, and so that's a big thing is that you have all this energy that's below the surface. You're going to see this. You see how the wave, now it's prominent because of how shallow the depth is. But we said this was 12 miles deep, right? Yeah. So you don't know what type of energy is rippling through right now, getting closer and closer to the Aleutian Islands until it's already maybe too close. So that's why it's like, get the warning out. Let's start to make sure people are on their action plan. But as you had mentioned, it's all about that fault line. Yeah. And I think this is why it's a big thing. Remember, we've talked with sail drones, right? They are talking about the measurements with tropical systems. We're in that season. But they also have those same autonomous drones out there mapping the floor to kind of give us more insight of what this is like, too, during those type of earthquakes, whether it's in the Caribbean or out all the way up here.
Yeah, I think some of the concern, 7.3, it's a big number.
That's a big number.
That's a big earthquake. But again, with how this played out, we don't know the size of it. We know that this was downgraded to tsunami advisory. We didn't see that recorded in some of the places where we probably would have seen it already. Going back to the earthquake we had in the northwestern Caribbean, was that a strike slip where it was horizontal motion that triggered this big earthquake, or was there upward displacement? I guess we're still working to see, but it's obviously great news that we haven't seen a tsunami in a place where it would be forecast to be at this point.
And imagine the first alert that somebody gets to their phone, right, is going to be that earthquake. You're going to look at the number, that's astonishing 7. And when you looked at it out here, it's that high on the Richter scale. Now you're starting to look at major impacts to damage the populated areas. And again, this is not that far removed from the coast where you're talking about 50 to 55 miles. And the thing that's interesting with this, and again, your experience there looking at this, is just the shape of the peninsula and those islands. Like Kodiak, the entire island, but this is all going to be the south-facing areas, but you have so many of those inlets where, obviously you have a harbor, you got a bay, that comes in at the right angle, be a problem.
As on the boat, we spent most of our time southern part of the island. Those inlets, salmon swimming up.
It's this time of year too, right?
Yeah.
Summertime.
Yeah, whole summer.
This is when fishing is full swing, right? And now you're worried about this type of impact going there. We did have some buoys that we had talked about. That was from, I think, Sandy Point, or was that? Yeah, and
Sandpoint.
Sandpoint. That really didn't. Okay, so we're looking at it again. I mean, Mike Seidel down in Biloxi's got bigger waves going on than what we're seeing here off of this. Good sign.
Yeah, we had the buoy showing us pictures in almost real time. It's showing us wave heights. So when we have seas that are up around 4 feet and we don't know how big of a tsunami, I would think that if it's an advisory now, it's going to be less than a couple feet. It's going to be hard to visually detect that or perhaps even see it on the sensor.
Well, the good thing with this, too, is how long we have in this, right? So you can see the cycles of waves in that. So even from 5 hours ago, we had wave heights of 5 feet, right? So that's not the anomaly. It didn't go, there's going to be that cycling pattern that happens. So it's a good sign, as you had said, that as long as that thing is active and is playing us in real time in some capacity, we haven't seen a major rise in the seas at all. Here's a different buoy. This is south of Kodiak now, where the latest observations 8 feet. But again, notice that's consistent with what we've seen.